Good Thursday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's entertainment spotlight, being part of my conversation with author Dan Burns about his new book, A Necessary Explosion. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Thursday headlines. In national news, Pelosi bars Trump allies from January 6 probe, GOP vows boycott. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Wednesday rejected two Republicans tapped by House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy to sit on a committee investigating the January 6 Capitol insurrection, a decision the Republican denounced as an egregious abuse of power. McCarthy said the GOP won't participate in the investigation if Democrats won't accept the members he's appointed. Pelosi cited the integrity of the probe in refusing to accept the appointments of Indiana Representative Jim Banks, picked by McCarthy to be the top Republican on the panel, or Ohio Representative Jim Jordan. The two men were outspoken allies of former President Donald Trump, whose supporters laid siege to the Capitol that day and interrupted the certification of President Joe Biden's win. Both of them voted to overturn the election results in the hours after the siege. Democrats have said the investigation will go on whether the Republicans participate or not, as Pelosi has already appointed 8 of the 13 members, including Republican Representative Liz Cheney of Wyoming, a Trump critic, and that gives them a bipartisan quorum to proceed, according to committee rules. Pelosi said she had spoken with McCarthy and told him that she would reject the two names. The move is emblematic of the raw political tensions in Congress that have only escalated since the insurrection, and raises the possibility that the investigation, the only comprehensive probe currently being conducted of the attack, will be done almost entirely by Democrats. Pelosi originally tried to create an independent investigation that would have been evenly split between the parties, but Senate Republicans blocked that approach in a vote last month. In more national news, COVID-19 cases in U.S. triple over 2 weeks amid misinformation. COVID-19 cases tripled in the U.S. over the 2 weeks amid an onslaught of vaccine misinformation that is straining hospitals, exhausting doctors, and pushing clergy into the fray. Our staff, they are frustrated, said Chad Nielsen, Director of Infection Prevention at UF Health Jacksonville, a Florida hospital that is canceling elective surgeries and procedures after the number of mostly unvaccinated COVID-19 inpatients at its 2 campuses jumped to 134, up from a low of 16 in mid-May. Across the U.S., the 7-day rolling average for daily new cases rose over the past 2 weeks to more than 37,000 on Tuesday, up from less than 13,700 on July 6, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Health officials blame the Delta variant in slowing vaccination rates. Just 52.2% of Americans have gotten at least 1 dose of the vaccine, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In more national news, infrastructure bill fails first vote, Senate to try again. Senate Republicans rejected an effort Wednesday to begin debate on the big infrastructure deal that a bipartisan group of senators brokered with President Joe Biden. But supporters in both parties remain hopeful of a better chance soon. Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York has scheduled a procedural vote that he described as a step to get the ball rolling as talks progress. But Republicans mounted a filibuster, saying the bipartisan group needed more time to wrap up the deal and review the details. They sought a delay until Monday. We have made significant progress and are close to a final agreement, the informal group of 22 senators, Republicans and Democrats, said in a joint statement after the vote. They said they were working to get this critical legislation right and were optimistic they could finish up in the coming days. The nearly $1 trillion measure over 5 years includes $579 billion in new spending on roads, broadband, and other public works projects, a first phase of Biden's infrastructure agenda to be followed by a much broader $3.5 trillion second measure from Democrats next month. In more national news, Democrats hit McConnell, who says GOP won't back debt limit boost. Senate Democrats accused Republicans Wednesday of a shameless, cynical ploy that would damage the economy and the government's credit rating after the chamber's GOP leader said his party would vote against raising the federal debt limit. In the latest chapter of a broad budget battle, likely to linger well into autumn, Democrats reacted after Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said he believes all Republicans will vote against renewing Washington's ability to borrow money. The government, which has been running huge budget deficits for years, needs to borrow cash constantly to pay its debts, but its legal authority to do that expires July 31st. And finally, in entertainment news, Bette Midler and Berry Gordy among new Kennedy Center honorees. The Kennedy Center honors will return in December with a class that includes Motown Records creator Berry Gordy, Saturday Night Live mastermind Lorne Michaels, and actress-singer Bette Midler. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, it's all yours.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Become open-minded. You will find as you become flexible while listening to others, you have greater success in your relationships. This comes about because people see you as being more accommodating to new ideas. When you hold on to your ideas too strongly, you make it difficult to understand what other people think and feel, which is the heart of all communication. You must find balance between what is important for you and the other person. It is okay if you do not agree. Respectfully listen. Compromise is the key to any healthy interaction or relationship. Holding on to your ideas too strongly will only hold you back. Today, inhale as you loosen the grip your ideas and opinions have on you. Exhale as you become more receptive. And remember, enjoy the day.
Author Dan Burns is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Author Dan Burns joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about his new book, A Necessary Explosion, Collected Poems. Here's a bit of our conversation. What has that been like for you to have readers that have kind of followed your career and been able to follow you from book to book?
Well, I certainly appreciate that comment. And, it really just comes down to the story. I love reading stories in a variety of different formats. And as a writer, I like to explore all of those formats as well. So, depending on the idea, the topic, what I'm feeling at the particular time, sometimes a poem makes most sense. Other times a short story can work. And for those ideas that I explore and really never leave me alone, then I'll explore them further in a longer form, like a novel. But I've always just tried to focus on stories that people can relate to. And I think that's it's kept me grounded, it's kept me connected with my readers, and it's allowed me to try a lot of different things and have my readership follow along. It's been fantastic.
I know you've been very committed not only to your own career, but also helping to foster the talent of others, to help others. Why has that been such an important thing for you to make sure that you're doing?
Well, as we talked before, it's been important for me in my development as a writer to be able to rely on people I know and people I respect in the writing industry to learn from them. And I've had many mentors who have helped me along the way. And so I think it's only right that if I have some ability, some experience that I can share with a fellow writer that might make his or her, life a little bit easier or the process a little bit less painful, then I'm more than happy to do that.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be with you guys on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.